So this is Tamarac Lady. She's my 5-year-old mare, and she's had 2 weeks off basically between going to Aiken and then I came back and did the William Fox Pit Clinic and then I had bedding. So, sort of everything got stacked on top of itself. So she ended up having just about 14 straight days off. And she is a super sporty, athletic mare. And she is a mare. So, she takes more finesse. It's not like when you're riding a gelding and you can just sort of tell them what to do. You have to sort of ask her what to do and you have to work with her a little bit. And it was a cold, windy day today after quite a few lovely days, which was sort of annoying. But anyway, so she definitely came out with a little bit of zest about her today, which I fully expected her to have. I always think when I watch her videos back that I have her neck too short and there's just a little bit of tension, which creates a shorter neck and sometimes she dips a little behind the vertical. Once she canters, I always think that that relaxes. I want to say her, but I think it also relaxes me. And then we have a much better trot work after we've cantered and her frame gets longer, her neck is lower and longer, her nose is more poked out. So we got to the left lead canter as quick as we could, really. And she has an absolutely lovely canter. She is just I mean, I know I already said this, but she is a super compact sports car type mare. So we cantered for a bit to the left because it just felt nice, felt like she was relaxing, I was relaxing, we were getting into the rhythm of working. And then when she came down from this canter, I was really happy with her trot work, felt like we were in the groove. I had her brain more in the ring. There's some farming happening off in the distance across the road, and there's some tractors and stuff. So when you see her picking up her head a bit, it's because she's looking off at whatever's happening across the field. So that was her left work. I was really happy with that. And then we come back to the walk here and we change directions just about as we're crossing the diagonal. Some of the horses back in their paddocks at the barn started screaming, and that really sort of undid her. She screamed back a little bit, and then she decided that, oh, we must have gone around to the left one more time. Anyway, she screamed back a little bit, and then she just sort of decided that she had forgotten how to go to the right. So you'll see when we get to that I just kept her on a 20-meter circle at the end of the ring away from the gate. And we did some nice trot work. And I was thinking, okay, like I think I've got her over the hump of this. Her trot work feels pretty good. And then when I asked her to canter to the right, which is her harder direction, but she has picked up the right canter for me plenty of times and she's done some very nice transitions. But I think today it was just a combination of the weather. She had 2 weeks off. The horses screaming at the barn was just like the icing on the cake, and she was just done. So I left actually some of that in there because even though she didn't want to pick up her right lead for me, she does an incredibly balanced counter canter on her left lead going to the right. So I left some of that in there. I asked a bit. I thought maybe we could get through it, and then it just comes to a point where I'm like, oh, I think she's spent, I'm spent. So I'll come back to her tomorrow and we'll try it again. And hopefully tomorrow the weather's a little bit kinder as well. And of course, she'll just be in a more settled mindset because now she's feeling like she's back in the groove of working a little bit. You'll see that now I'm holding the dressage stick in my left hand, and I didn't have one before, but when the other horses started screaming and she decided she didn't want to steer right anymore, I had Billy hand me the stick. And then that just, all that does is just reinforce my outside aids. Because of course she can see the stick out of the corner of her eye. And it just makes my outside aids a little bit sharper for her. And then here you can see some of this counter canter that I'm talking about. I'm asking her to pick up the right lead, but she's giving me the left. But, I also don't want to yank her back to the trot every time she picks up the wrong lead because I don't want to add any tension or anxiety. So really with any horse, if I ask them for a lead and they pick up the wrong one, but they do it in a balanced way, I tend to let them carry on for at least a couple of steps because I don't want to be jerking on them when they're trying to give me the right answer and they just really don't know.